Gold is shouting. Not in a literal sense, of course, but if you know how to pay attention, the message is loud. At this moment, while many people get sidetracked by headlines about politics or celebrities, drama, the oldest type of money in the world, is giving us a warning that might help us. Your financial future can be improved or ruined if you overlook what is happening. Gold only broke every record. We're discussing a type of metal that has been trading for many centuries, suddenly rising to levels that would seem impossible just a few months ago. The price reached a record high of more than $4,000 per ounce. That is not a mistake. $4,000. For context, gold was being traded about $1,500 a few years ago. This is not typical market behavior. It seems like your message was incomplete. Could you please provide the text you want me to simplify? Is panic buying presented as success? But here's what nobody is saying. When gold moves this way, it's not celebrating, it's mourning. It is sorrowing the loss of trust in everything else. Cada aumento en el precio del oro. The price shows a lack of trust in the systems we've been advised to rely on. It seems like your message got cut off. Please provide the text you'd like me to simplify, and I'll help you with that. Bancos, las monedas, las promesas, que our leaders discuss economic issues. Stabilidad. Gold is always truthful. No puede ser. Printed, altered, or hoped for existencia. And right now it's clear. Show us something scary. It seems you've only mentioned Professor Paulo. Could you please provide more details or a specific text about Professor Paulo that you would like me to simplify? Pasquariello de la Universidad de Michigan stated clearly when he said, "There is no way to understand these." Rising gold prices as a positive indicator. They're a warning sign. When an expert who researches financial markets for a living uses words like exploding and warning in the same sentence, you should likely focus. It seems like your request is incomplete. Could you provide more context or a longer text for me to help you with? While others are celebrating stock gains in the market and discussing soft landings, gold is getting ready for a fall. The term landing refers to the act of arriving at a destination, usually after flying, or the place where you arrive, such as an area at an airport or a platform on a staircase. The numbers are always truthful, even when politicians do. Gold has increased significantly, more than 25% since the beginning of this year solo. Eso no es crecimiento, eso es desesperación. En los últimos meses, we've seen it go up almost 20%, distant surpassing the stock market that everyone continues to indicate as evidence that todo está bien. But gold understands. Mejor. Gold recalls what takes place when systems based on borrowing and commitments finally collapse under their own burden. What makes this increase especially? Its timing is troubling. This explosion in the prices of gold have matched perfectly with data showing a quick drop in job growth. There's no text provided to paraphrase. Please provide a paragraph for me to simplify. Employment numbers that used to be higher have changed. Looks solid is now being updated down. The type of changes that occur when reality can no longer exist, hidden by seasonal changes and manipulation of statistics. When individuals begin to lose jobs and gold starts breaking records at the same time, history informs us about what happens next. I know is nice. Bancos centrales en todo el mundo are quietly confirming what the prices of gold are yelling about. They have been purchasing gold at all-time highs, building up over 1,000 tons in each of the last 3 years. These are not random buys made by anxious people. Investors looking at their investments después de la cena. These are intentional actions by the people in charge of national monetary policy. They are the ones who imprimir dinero, establecer tasas de interés, y supposedly understand what they are doing. It seems like your message got cut off. Could you please provide the full text you want me to paraphrase? They're giving up their own currencies in support of the one asset they cannot make something from nothing. Consider that. Por un momento. The people in charge of the printing presses are purchasing the one, cosa que no pueden imprimir. Banqueros centrales in China, Russia, India, and even a few Western countries are gathering gold, like it's the final lifeboat on a sinking shipboat. If the people who manage money are rushing towards gold, what does that mean? I will explain the future of money itself. The United States dollar, the so-called king of currencies, is demonstrating cracks that seemed impossible only 10 years ago. Its part of the world reserves are at their lowest point desde 1994. That's 30 years of consistency. A drop in the currency that's meant to be the base of the world sistema financiero. The dollar has decreased in value, more than 11% of its worth in just de solamente en la primera mitad de este año. That's the largest drop in more than 50 years, según Morgan Stanley. 50 años. But this isn't only about numbers on a chart. This discusses the breakdown of a system that has supported the global economy operando desde el final de la Segunda Guerra Mundial II. Cuando la moneda de reserva mundial starts to lose control, when central banks begin stockpiling gold instead of dollars. When money first started begins to break records while everything else begins to show signs of stress fractures, you are seeing the beginning stages of a financial shock. It seems that your message got cut off. Could you please provide the full text you want me to paraphrase? The analysis shows an even darker situation. Gold is trading within ranges that indicate or a big increase to even higher levels or a disastrous adjustment that could cause panic in all markets. Support levels are stable for now, but the patterns showing on the charts appear strangely similar to what we saw earlier. Previous significant market changes, picos dobles, convergencia triangular patterns, and situations that are oversold which could snap back sharply in either. Please provide the text that you would like to have paraphrased and simplified. If gold goes below an important levels of support near $4,000, technical analysts caution that we might experience a fast descent that may not end until it lega a 3,800 o incluso 3,600. That type of correction doesn't happen alone. When gold drops suddenly after hitting these points, en niveles extremos, normalmente se necesita everything else that comes with it. Acciones, bonos, commodities, and even cryptocurrencies often detract gold when trust finally stops working. But here's the real, scary part. La recession probability models are showing warning signs. Moody's Analytics now estimates the likelihood of a 48% economic decline. That's the highest level since the pandemic confinamientos de 2020. Marks and Dandy, Sue chief economist, referred to these chances uncomfortably high, stating that once the chance goes over 50%, a recession normalmente sigue. We are basically one poor jobs report or a financial surprise away from passing that point. It seems that your message is incomplete. Could you please provide the text that you would like me to paraphrase? Mercado laboral, que a los políticos les encanta, show as evidence of economic strength, is showing signs of being under a lot of stress. Trabajo. The creation of new things has dropped to below 100,000 puestos por mes durante 4 meses consecutivos months. That's the type of speed that has historically occurred during recessions. The government recently lowered job estimates. Creation numbers increased by more than 900,000 puestos. 900,000 jobs that they mentioned existed but did not. It seems the text is incomplete. Could you please provide the full text that you would like to simplify? Error de redondeo. That's proof of an economy that has been operating on group of numbers instead of actual crecimiento. I'm sorry, but it seems your text got cut off. Could you please provide the complete text that you would like me to paraphrase? Gold prices have dropped to their lowest point. Levels since the panic caused by the pandemic in 2020. When you compare the S&P 500 with oro en lugar de dólares, obtienes un mejor entendimiento de cómo se crea la riqueza real contra la inflación monetaria. And that the picture shows stocks going down quickly against the one thing that cannot be influenced by central bank policies. Oil prices have dropped a lot this year, which is usual, and the economy. But it would be good news for consumers this context. Decreasing oil prices indicate slow global economic growth instead of mayor oferta. When the globe uses less energy, usually means the world is making less, doing less and growing smaller. That's causing prices to go down. Pressure that goes against the inflation pressures are still present in food prices and how trade affects them. Políticas. This results in the worst situation possible. For people making policies, inflación que no va a leave entirely, together with economic growth that is decreasing quickly. It's the type of setting where regular money management methods cease working. Lower interest rates could not encourage growth if businesses and consumers are already in too much debt. Higher rates could lead to a recession that everyone wants to stay away from. It seems like your message was cut off. Could you please provide the text you would like me to paraphrase? Global economic indicators are showing an image of an economy that has been restrained unidos por la política monetaria y government involvement for a long time that no one knows what normal looks like anymore. Signs that show how the economy is doing have been going down for 3 years and are now going into negative territory. No se trata de una desaceleración temporal. That's it. A change in structure that suggests the basis of our economic growth has been affected. Gold's rapid increase is not only showing current uncertainty, it's predicting what comes next. Many analysts are currently anticipating that if there is a complete recession, could increase even more 10 to 25%, posiblemente probando el 4,500 range in the next 12 to 18 months. But this is where it becomes peligroso. Jim Wyoff, a senior market expert and analyst at Kitco Metals, gave a clear warning that every investor should consider. Stop. Él dijo, el oro y la plata están en there is a boom cycle happening now, but you can be sure they will be in a busy period soon. Eso es lo que esperan los inversores. Esa es la trampa. Nobody discusses. The recent increase in gold prices isn't just a safe place to invest. It's a bubble forming in real time, driven by the same type of panic that causes cada desastre financiero. It seems that the text you provided is incomplete. Please provide the full text you would like me to simplify. Runs toward the same exit. That exit eventually gets stopped. Cuando el oro finally breaks down from these huge levels, it won't only affect gold inversionistas. It will indicate that a safe place for money has been comprometido. The Elliott wave analysis suggests we are observing a clear pattern that technical analysts refer to as a double tres formaciones. It seems your message is incomplete. Please provide the full text you would like me to simplify. Correct, both gold and silver are. Set up for a big downward trend that could happen in a few days or weeks. No mises. The power of the earlier and upward wave indicates that a downward movement is coming. The correction could be just as dramatic. We're discussing possible decreases that could undo months of progress in a trading period. It seems like your message was incomplete. Could you please provide the full text you would like me to paraphrase? The crash situation becomes more serious when you recognize the connected nature of modern markets. Gold is not found in isolation no longer. Negociado en bolsa money, financial contracts, and computer-based methods. Trading has linked the price changes of gold to almost every other type of asset. When gold goes through extreme situations, volatilidad, esa volatilidad se expande through the financial system like a contagio. Piensa en lo que pasó durante crisis de mercado anteriores. In 2008, gold at first fell with everything else as investors rushed to get cash. It was solo más tarde, después del pánico inicial calmed down, gold started its long rise higher. Pero esta vez es diferente. It seems like your message is incomplete. Could you please provide the text you would like me to simplify? Over time, gold has already risen to extreme levels before the crisis has completely formed. That means if a crash happens, gold may not offer the protection that investors rely on. It seems like your message is incomplete. Could you please provide the text you want me to simplify? The Federal Reserve is in a situation that can't be resolved. They have maintained interest rates kept very low for a long time that any big increase could cause the recession they want to avoid. but maintaining low rates while inflation continues, meaning the value of the dollar continues to drop, causing gold prices to go down even higher. It's a policy about money. Death spiral where every action causes worse outcomes later on. International events are causing the situation even more dangerous. Conflictos comerciales, tensiones geopolíticas, and currency conflicts are all contributing to the journey for gold. Pero estos los mismos factores están debilitando lo global economic cooperation that is needed para la estabilidad financiera. When countries begin collecting gold and leaving behind the international money agreements, the whole system that has backed global trade for many years starts to break. The speed of money, an important sign of economic health, has been decreasing de manera constante. Esto significa que incluso cuando los bancos centrales crean más dinero, eso money isn't flowing through the economy at regular rates. It seems that your message is incomplete. Could you please provide the full text you'd like me to paraphrase or simplify? Companies are holding on to cash and converting it into assets like gold instead of putting money into productive activities. This leads to a cycle of falling prices where economic activity is slowing down even though asset prices increase. Deuda corporativa levels have reached all-time highs, with many companies are taking on a lot of debt during the years of low interest rates. It seems like your message got cut off. Please provide the text you'd like me to simplify, and I'll be happy to help. Costs of borrowing increase and the economy as conditions get worse. These companies will have difficulties with refinancing that could cause many businesses to go bankrupt. When big companies begin to struggle, the effects spread through work, spending by consumers, and confianza del inversor. The real estate market, which has been supported by low interest rates and government actions, is exhibiting signs of significant stress. Mortgage rates have gone up, importantly, costing many possible buyers and departing sellers with properties they cannot move at precios esperados. A housing adjustment would greatly reduce the wealth of households for millions of Americans who have most of their wealth invested in real estate. Personal savings rates have gone down as consumers have had to use up reserves to keep their level of living with increasing expenses. Tarjeta de crédito. La deuda ha alcanzado niveles récord con muchos. Families with debts they can't manage can pay for if their earnings declines or their costs rise. Please provide the text you would like me to simplify. This situation of high consumer debt shows a huge weakness in the economic system. The business reel. The real estate sector is experiencing a more serious situation. Crisis as remote work trends have permanently lowered demand for offices espacio. Billions of dollars in business real estate loans are about to expire for refinancing at a much higher rate precios. Y muchas propiedades tienen un valor much less than their deuda pendiente. Esto podría provocar un financiamiento, a banking crisis like the one we observed con bienes raíces residenciales en 2008. State and local governments throughout the countries are having difficulty with their budgets, déficits, obligaciones de pensiones no financiadas, and decreasing tax income. Many municipalities must make a decision between increasing taxes, reducing services, or not meeting their responsibilities. Municipal bond markets, which were once seen as some of the safest investments, are demonstrating signs of stress that might distribute it across the financial system. The global money system is fracturing as more countries leave trade agreements based on the dollar that are beneficial of agreements to exchange currencies between two countries or exchanges that focus on commodities. It seems that your message is incomplete. Could you please provide the text you'd like me to paraphrase and simplify? The dollarization process speeds up the decrease in American money influence, while the demand for alternatives is growing assets that hold worth, such as gold. Cada país that shifts away from dollar reserves weakens the whole system that has helped maintain America's economic power. Financial institutions are sharing information, more people failing to pay back loans in various situation sectors, from commercial property to crédito al consumidor. Bank stress tests, while officially having enough capital reserves, might not reflect the quick decline in economic conditions that's happening right now. It seems the text is incomplete. Please provide the full text you would like me to paraphrase and simplify. If a financial institution fails, the contagion effects might cause a crisis that is more serious than what we happened 15 years ago. Please provide the text you would like me to simplify. Mercados de derivados, que valen cientos de trillions of dollars, are still present around the world, mostly unclear and linked together. It seems you may have sent an incomplete message. Please provide the text you want me to paraphrase and simplify. Financial instruments that are complicated increase both profits and losses. During the "it seems like" you might want me to simplify a specific text, but I don't see one provided. Please share the text you'd like me to work on, and I'll be happy to help. In a crisis, derivative positions meant to protect against risk could instead increase losses and cause fear internationally markets. El aumento del oro no es solo forecasting a market collapse, it's currently active. Taking part in making conditions that make a crash unavoidable. When the oldest type of money in the world gets to these high valuations, it signals that show confidence in all aspects has worn away completely. And when that confidence eventually breaks, the total collapse will make past financial crises seem like small adjustments. The warning signs are everywhere, shining red all over every important sign. It seems that your message was incomplete. Please provide the full text you would like me to simplify. The question that remains is whether you'll identify them early to ensure safety yourself, or if you'll be caught off. Be careful when the system eventually fails under the burden of its own inconsistencias. So that's it. Gold is not only reaching all-time highs, it's giving a warning that most people will overlook it until it's too late. The metal that has lasted through every imperio, cada colapso de moneda, cada the worst financial crisis in human history, is saying that we are at the border of another cliff. Y esta vez, there may not be support available. Please provide the text you would like me to simplify. The signals are obvious if you understand how to read them. Central banks storing large amounts of money or assets. Gold, the dollar losing its strength. The chances of a recession are increasing toward 50%. Job numbers are being lowered by casi 1,000,000. Patrones técnicos that reflect every major crash in the text you provided is too brief for paraphrasing. Could you please provide a longer text or specify what you would like to be simplified? Esto ya no es especulación. This is the mathematical certainty of a system that has taken on too much debt, prometió demasiado, y publicó demasiado money to fulfill its responsibilities. History doesn't repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes. Y ahora está rhyming with each financial crash that came earlier. The only difference is the measurement tool. This time, when the dominoes start falling, there's nowhere else to run. Gold is considered the best safe option. Haven ya está ajustando el precio en la disaster that has not occurred yet. It seems that the text you provided is incomplete. Please provide the full text you'd like me to paraphrase, and I'll be happy to help. The question isn't if a crash is arriving. The question is if you'll be one of the few who predicted it, or one of the many who believed in the system right up until it stopped working. Gold has alerted you. Sure,